Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, and this is the third review straight. Um, and hope I don't look too tired. But I've been wanting to pick the right moment to talk about this movie. I mean, it's not like fantastic or anything, but it's definitely an underrated action film that I do think more people should watch, and that would be Line of Duty from 2019. It was directed by Stephen C. Miller, and it stars, let me read it out in this order, Aaron Eckhart, Courtney Eaton, Jessica Liu, Dina Meyer, Ben McKenzie, and Giancarlo Esposito. Now I will read the summary on the back. Aaron Eckhart, Olympus Has Fallen, stars Frank Penny as Frank Penny, a disgraced cop looking for a shot at redemption. When the police chief's 11-year-old daughter is abducted, Frank goes rogue to try and save her. But to find the girl, Frank will need the help of Ava Brooks, played by Courtney Eaton, whose live-streaming news channel is broadcasting Frank's every move. While the city watches, Frank and Ava race against time in this explosive action thriller. Now, that is a pretty good description, actually. And calling this an action thriller makes sense because there's quite a bit of action. But yeah, I really liked this film. Now, I understand on Letterboxd it has a 2.3 out of 5. That's how it is with a lot of direct-to-video films, especially from Lionsgate. People online seem to really have something against... What? Camera's having a bit of a time focusing. A lot of films from Lionsgate get a bad rap. The company itself gets a bad rap a lot of the time, and I really don't understand it. Because Lionsgate's released a lot of damn good films. The John Wick films are from Lionsgate. But I just really don't understand it. I think it's ridiculous to be like, oh, immediately a washed up actor starring in a Lionsgate direct-to-video film. And it's like, fuck off. Like, they're actors. Saying that an actor is doing a pay job just because they're in a direct-to-video film, I'm sorry, it's retarded. It's stupid to say shit like that. Especially when you clearly don't know how the film industry works. But anyway, let me get to the cast. Aaron Eckhart does a great job here. He really does. He plays up the emotions. You can feel the tension just looking at him. And he gets to play a gruff cop, which is something he doesn't normally get to do. He gets to play kind of an everyman here. And it was nice to see. And he really shows his dedication to the role and to making the film work in the action scenes where there's a super long chase scene near the beginning of the movie. That's him throughout the entire thing, doing his own stunts and running and all that. That's him. For all that I know, it is him. I found that pretty impressive. Courtney Eaton, who plays Ava Brooks, who is a girl that works. She has a thing called Power to the People, or something like that, which is a citizen journalism website that she runs, where she shows people the news unfiltered, no editing, nothing like that. Which I agree with that side, and I'll get to that when I talk about the film in general. At the start, she annoyed me a bit, because she was a bit like, oh, this is how young people talk, and that kind of thing, at the beginning at least. But I grew to like her as the film went along. I didn't mind her. Apparently she was in Gods of Egypt, which I never saw, and Mad Max Fury Road, which I still haven't seen. So maybe I'll watch Mad Max Fury Road sometime. I'll have to get through the rest of them. But Jessica Liu plays her partner, Clover Nestel, who runs a website called Wake Up and Smell the Bullshit, I think, who is also a news person. She helps her out. She's fine. She doesn't really have a huge role in this. Who else was it? Dina Meyer. Dina Meyer plays a news executive that ends up showing Ava's live feed and getting people aware of what's happening, which I'll mention another thing about that in a bit. Ben McKenzie plays the main villain, Dean Keller, and he's after Frank Penny, who is Aaron Eckhart's character. He's after him because he killed his brother near the beginning of the movie. And Ben McKenzie, I've known him from like Gotham. He was on the Gotham TV show. I liked the first season of that. I never finished it. I think I have... Yep, I have the first season over there on Blu-ray, so I'll have to get the rest and watch that show. But he did a great job as this villain. He seems to be having fun with the role. He's not taking himself too seriously, and it works all the more for this character. And Giancarlo Esposito as Tom Volk. He's the man whose daughter was kidnapped and is going to drown in 64 minutes. But and he's fine. But yeah, this is a film that I could see being made in like the 90s. It's kind of a throwback to films like what was it? It's that Johnny Depp movie where it kind of takes place in real time. Whatever, I can't think of the name of it. I liked this more than that. That Johnny Depp movie, it does have its good moments, but I do think it gets a bit slow at times, if that makes sense. Because there's not really a lot of story to that movie. But, and the ending was kind of unsatisfying. But yeah, this film, yes, it's a direct-to-video film. There's immediately a stigma about that, unless it's a martial arts film. But, if it's a direct-to-video shoot-'em-up, it's automatically bad, and it's automatically derivative. I wouldn't 100% disagree on the derivative part, but at least this film tried to put a different spin on it. The film does comment on citizen journalism, which is what Courtney Eaton and Jessica Liu's characters are. They're citizen journalists. If you ask me, citizen journalism is one of the best things to happen to journalism recently, because citizen journalists have been able to uncover more shit than even these supposed news channels and investigative news channels have been. Because you know what? Reporters used to actually report instead of being just told what to say to everyone. They used to actually do investigations. They used to like put themselves on the front lines, go to these countries that they could very easily get killed in, to actually bring us the real news and tell us what the fuck is going on. And we need citizen journalists now more than ever, with all the misinformation and shit that goes on with all news. Liberal, conservative, all of the news has shit like that. So it's not just me being like, oh, conservative news is the best. No, even conservative news channels have had issues with that. So I really understand what this film was going for. It definitely felt like there was that kind of message of, yes, citizen journalists are here to stay. They are what we need. And it's true, they are what we need right now. But yeah, because there's a line that Courtney Eaton's character says, or no, Jessica Liu's character says, which is, yeah, only put organic food in your pie holes, don't get jabbed, and EMFs are meant to make you dumber, so limit exposure. So, it kind of sounds like they saw a bit into the future with the whole jab thing. Like, you know, I won't go any further with that. But I just found it interesting that she mentioned that, and the EMF thing is fucking true. I mean, if you keep your phone too close to your head for too long, it does make you dumber. I mean, look at our generation. Look at my generation. Whatever. I hate my generation. Anyway, this film combines that whole citizen journalism thing with this, if I'm being honest, non-stop action thriller, which it actually is non-stop. Not non-stop action, it's not like action every scene. But there's always something happening. Which a film like This lied to me about being a wall-to-wall action movie when it fucking wasn't. Yeah, wall-to-wall in the first 30 minutes, and the last 20, maybe? This is an actual wall-to-wall action movie. Or wall-to-wall thriller. Because there's stuff happening in every scene. It doesn't, like, slow down to give you, like, nothing happening. Every scene that happens has a reason to it. So, I wish more movies that did that, tried to do that, actually made good on their promises. But yeah, this film, again, you look at this cover, it's not the greatest cover. Like, Line of Duty, Aaron Eckhart smirking, Courage Never Stands Down, and you'll think, oh, it's just a random cop thriller, not going to be anything interesting. But no, I think you're missing something if you don't watch this. I definitely think you're missing out on a fun, breezy watch. It doesn't demand a lot of the audience. It's just like, sit back, enjoy the ride. Only real issues I see with it are, because it's a lower budget film, I don't know the exact budget. The exact budget isn't listed anywhere. Most of these direct-to-video films nowadays don't have budgets listed. Even back then, they don't. My guess would be around 10 million. Because a lot of these projects, like the Bruce Willis direct-to-video films, were around 10 million. But there's definitely parts of it where they have to stretch the budget, and there's some CGI fire. There's like a scene where a house explodes, and there's some questionable explosion effects. Excuse me. And there's some questionable CGI fire. There's some points of CG blood that don't look great, and others that look pretty good. But there are also some explosions in the middle of the film that looked practical, so I guess just whatever, they had to do what they had to do. But yeah, other than that, and maybe some meh green screen work, other than those, I really don't have many issues with the film. So guess I'll get to the pros and cons. The pros, the cast is pretty starry. Aaron Eckhart, Giancarlo Esposito, Dina Meyer, frickin' Ben McKenzie. Pretty decent cast for this type of film. You don't usually expect to see all those names. The film looks good. It's decently well shot. The sets are pretty cool. There's some pretty cool sets where fight scenes happen. There's like an abandoned building where Eric Eckhart and Ben McKenzie have a fist fight, it's a fun fight. There's some really nice camera shots. There's a shot of them like jumping into a pit of water, and you see it from above and below, and you see them plunge into the water from like a side shot, and it looks really nice. It's a good bit of business. Well staged action. There's like a shootout in the streets that's well done, decent CG blood, decent. I don't know if they're firing blanks, but it seemed like cartridges were ejecting, so I'm guessing they were firing blanks, which I'll give this film that too. Not many direct-to-video films nowadays do that. Quite a few of them get lazy and do the Seagal route, where they start using fake guns, and they have like, the CG bullets flying out, or the CG muzzle flares that look like shit. Even John Wick had really bad CG gun flares, which did take me out of it for quite a bit of it. But the score, I wish there was an official release of the score from the Newton brothers, who are like an electronic duo. I've always liked the score. It's a fun one, and it's very like dreamlike at points, very like it's not just generic action music, and I wish there was a release of it, because they released their other scores, like for Bye Bye Man, Hush, Midnight Mass, and all that other stuff. Like, they release scores for that online, but not this. That sucks. Yeah, the pace, very good pace, pretty fast. I never got bored, that's for sure. I think the way that the internet is depicted is decently well done. I don't think it ever got too ridiculous, like, oh, 1 billion people are watching, like 5 million people are watching the stream or some bullshit like that. I think that's one thing this film has over Untraceable with Diane Lane, which at one point they're like 10 million people are watching the stream, and I was like, that's not exactly how that works. You almost never get 10 million people watching a stream. But especially back in 2010. I still love Untraceable. That's one of the big issues I had with it. Cons. I mean, you could always use more Dina Meyer, more Giancarlo Esposito, but for their roles, I understand. Their roles aren't meant to be, like, super substantial. There are a couple scenes of kind of bad explosion or fire effects, especially in the house scene, that did stand out to me. Or, like, there was a car crash and there was, like, fake smoke effects that didn't look too great. There's a weird scene, if you've seen the film you know what I'm talking about, where there's a character named Bunny that kind of came out of nowhere, and I understood it was kind of meant for comedic purposes, I guess. I was more just left confused. I don't know if it's a con. I was, like, legitimately, like, mouth agape, like, what is this? How does this relate to anything? They do reveal how it's related, but it's kind of ridiculous. The implications that are made. Sorry for yawning so much. Shit. I know, I'm staying awake. It's my fault. But yeah, like, I don't really have a ton of cons. Oh yeah, the green screen work during the helicopter scene is a bit iffy. And the way that the villain meets his demise is kind of weird. Other than that, I don't think you have to buy the Blu-ray. I think it's on Prime still. It says it's on Amazon. I don't know if it's still streaming on Amazon Prime. But it's usually streaming on Amazon Prime. And yeah, I like this director. The couple movies I've seen from him, The Aggression Scale and Extraction. Extraction I thought was decent, and Aggression Scale I fucking loved. I really, really, really liked Aggression Scale. And I do wish more people liked it like I did. But yeah, check it out wherever you can. Line of Duty, Aaron Eckhart, 2019. And yeah, that's about all I have to say. If you like the review, leave a comment, like the video, subscribe, all that jazz, and Movie Reviewer Next Door, out.